Jimmy Nicholl and Millwall couldn't have asked for a better start from their new man, and neither could Mark Bright. Lurking at the far post, in only the 11th minute, he put Millwall ahead. They stay second despite letting Bournemouth score before half-time and keeping it that way. Close inspection shows only Matthew Holland got off the floor, his reward the game's only other goal. The scramble at the top meant a crowd of almost double the next highest in Division 2 rewarded when Carlos Saba got his 14th league goal to give Brentford an early lead. Lost possession put Burnley 2 behind. Stretched as attack had to be quickly turned into defence. It wasn't quick enough to stop Nick Forster getting the ball past Marlon Beresford. It didn't mean much that Burnley scored 5 minutes from the end. Brentford stay top. Peter Swan's header not enough in a game where they were always second best. The most enviable home record is Luton. They took full advantage of a Crewe side which tried to play football and ended up getting caught. Super turn and follow-up from Graham Alexander. Quicker to the ball, Luton's Tony Thorpe stays the division's leading scorer. This, the first of his hat-trick. He's now got 14 as Luton aim to return to Division 1 at the first chance. You wonder what a purist like Dario Gradi thought as his team threw everything away, making the job easier with a penalty. Beautifully taken too by Thorpe. It's not a match that Jason Kirton will want on his video CV either. It was that sort of day for Crewe. The bounce kind as Thorpe made it 3. Well, doubtless Crewe will spend the week practising defending, unless Gradi thinks they can't be this bad again. Paul Schowler's goal prompted goalkeeper and defender to stare silently at each other. With 2 sent off, Crewe couldn't wait for the final whistle, but before it came, David Oldfield added insult to injury by nutmegging Kirton, who was probably wishing he was back home in Australia. If Bury are going to be promoted, they'll have to improve their away record. Twice ahead and only a draw. This after taking the lead through Rob Matthews in some style. But Bury's defence seized for the first equaliser. They simply stood and stared and gave Steve Butler a free header. But quite how Bury went back in front 2 minutes into the second half is an equal mystery. Butler did the hard work and substitute Adrian Randall took the plaudits. Gillingham got their just rewards with virtually their next attack. No shortage of confidence either as Simon Ratcliffe made it 2-2. Cue the celebrations. Not even the introduction of 5 replacements could fashion a goal at Edgeley Park. The nearest was when one of Peterborough's new boys, Martin Carruthers, looked a certain scorer, but wasn't. There hasn't been a lot to cheer at Wycombe, but new manager John Gregory could just have pulled off a masterstroke. A winner from Miguel de Souza that could grace any match, anywhere. You've got to feel sorry for the Walsall goalkeeper Walker. Splendid double save as Watford aimed to ensure it stayed just 1 away defeat. Then a deflection and Richard Johnson had scored. And good goal it was too that equalised it before half-time. Well struck by John Keister, Miller had no chance. And controversy, just for a change, over a penalty. The holding and jostling looked 50-50, but Mr. Robinson of Hull said a penalty. Walsall felt justice was done, while Vivash offered David Connolly his condolences for the miss. If anybody's allowed to run like this and so close to so many opponents, you deserve a goal. York's Gary Bull did just that, and in the end it was Tony Hume's deflection that got the OG tag. Even worse, it was in the last minute. It's a good job that Preston can win so well at home. Friday night it was their 7th from 12. It warmed the fans on a cold night at the New Look Deepdale. When the head tennis stopped and the goalkeeper's missed punch had landed, it was Gary Bennett who hit a spectacular goal. It's easy to see how non-league Hensford Town knocked Blackpool out of the cup. Even 4 changes didn't improve the defence. David Reeves was all alone, and that was 2. The Gary Megson nightmare, number 3. Coming up, Bennett for his 2nd, the team's 3rd. Blackpool now 6th bottom. Fight back of the day has to be Plymouth, 2 down with goals either side of half-time, starting with Dean Spink's header at the near post past Grobbelaar. 2 minutes after the half-time refresher and the Zimbabwean was flying across his goal, vainly trying to stop Ian Evans from scoring. Plymouth's first forward a flurry of inconclusive activity. At first it threatened the goal and then it didn't. But then a bamboozling turn had the Shrewsbury defence going nowhere and Ronnie Moje had scored. It gave Plymouth realistic hope, and that became reality with the luck of the bounce, a great ball and a great header from Michael Evans. Honours even. Brian Clough said he was feeling better and went to Meadow Lane to prove it to the doubters. Sadly, Darren Ward's save was the only highlight of a drab 90 minutes.
Sunday's Bristol derby had been eagerly awaited. Nearly 19,000 were at Ashton Gate. The majority were overjoyed when Australian striker Paul Agostino's individual goal put City in front. Their control began to slip when Rob Edwards was sent off with half an hour left. There were just 90 seconds remaining when Rovers equalised. Peter Beadle side-footed in, and Rovers supporters spilled on in celebration. It took the police 5 minutes to clear the pitch, but the really worrying incidents were at the final whistle. Some Rovers players were allegedly attacked by City supporters. Injured fans had to be stretchered away. The FA have launched an immediate inquiry, but will await police reports before pressing charges.
The match was a typical derby game. Unfortunately, the events have been overtaken by what happened towards the end of the game and after it. It's disgraceful.
But we witnessed something today that I thought had disappeared from this place, certainly. I mean, this is a great place to come to. I've had some great times here, but today was about the worst. To see people coming onto the pitch, chasing and attacking the opposing players was disgraceful. And I don't want to be associated with it. We will try and identify every single person who was on that pitch. And if we can identify them, they will never come here again while I'm involved. Because either they go or I go.